3 common mistakes to avoid on keto and maximize your fat loss results. Hi, welcome to this brand new video. We'll be discussing about 3 most common mistakes. ये mistakes keto myths नहीं है. जो keto myths है कि eat fat first, prioritize protein, drink more water, sleep, ये ऐसे टाइप की mistakes नहीं है. These are mistakes which all of us may make. ये हो सकता है आप अपने एक formulated diet में भी कर रहे हो. You may be working with a coach and you may realize that I am making this mistake. So let's understand this before I confuse you. Let me come to the first point. Either you're focusing too much on fats or you're focusing too much on carbohydrates. That means either you're focusing to go really low carbs and you're either focusing on eating so high fat and you're not realizing that there is a balance between it. Let me explain. When you eat high fats, that is not keto. That doesn't mean that because just you are consuming high fat, तो fats खाने से आपकी body ketosis में आ जाएगी. आपकी body ketosis में तब आएगी जब आप carbohydrates बहुत कम कर दोगे. But अगर आप सिर्फ carbohydrates पे focus कर रहे हो and you're not focusing on fats, then you're playing with yourself and you're not understanding the logic of consuming enough calories. What happens in both the cases here is that somebody who's eating high fats, वो keto पे तो जाएंगे नहीं. तो because fats and carbohydrates are not great friends, they have complaints in the initial days. अच्छा हमने keto start करा and then we gained some weight because you are also not cutting down on carbohydrates. The second category is what majority of us fall in. हम खाना तो ठीक खा रहे हैं. We are obviously eating very comfortably on keto with very less carbs, but we are not prioritizing fat. Please remember, 1 gram of carbohydrate is 4 calories and 1 gram of fat is 9 calories. अगर आपकी एक normal diet में, आप एक healthy diet में 100 ग्राम carbohydrates खाते हो, आप उसको cut down करके 20 पे लेके आ रहे हो, 30 पे लेके आ रहे हो, you still have 280 calories to compensate for. And when you're going very low carbohydrates and you're not eating enough fats, there are 3 things which are going to happen with you in this first point itself. One is you will be always hungry. Second is you don't have that satisfied feeling, that satiety feeling of food is not going to come into place. Third thing is that if you're hungry and as well as you don't have any satiety levels meeting in, you will always keep craving for more food. So if you're the first person who is trying to eat high fats, first of all, don't just go obsessed about fats. You will have to also reduce carbohydrates. And if you're the second category who is reducing carbohydrate, prioritize your fat intake because these 3 things can be an experience of your fat loss journey. और क्या है, जब आपको cravings होंगी, जब आपको भूख लगेगी, जब आप satisfied नहीं होगे, you will surely would want to include into some or the other carbohydrate sources or you would want to include some processed food. This is the first basic mistake where you should be recalculating your ratios and be in a sweet caloric deficit. A sweet caloric deficit is 20 to 30% of your BMR, or the other way to also calculate is through keto calculators. I am attaching a link for you in the description. ये मेरी website पे calculator है. It is a very generic calculator. मैंने उसको develop नहीं करा है, but this helps you to also calculate how much fats to consume, how much protein to consume and how much carbohydrates you have to consume. जब आप उस calculator पे सारी information डालोगे, you can go down and you can also check whether what is your sweet caloric deficit and what is your better caloric deficit in terms of it has 3 levels like moderate and there is an extreme caloric deficit also. So remember one thing, prioritize fats, reduce carbs and count net carbs, not total carbs. Total carbs minus fiber is net carbs. Second most common mistake is snacking frequently. Insulin spikes do not happen just because of carbohydrates. ये बहुत बड़ा myth बना दिया है कि आप carbs खाओगे तो insulin spike होगा. Insulin spike fat से भी होता है which is glycerol, amino acid से भी होता है which is protein. So if you're a person who's munching very frequently, if you do not have defined meals, if you're not doing something like intermittent fasting or fat first, or you're not understanding that you should not be doing 3-4 meals on keto, you will realize that your fat loss is going to stagnate at one point of time. Insulin being as a fat storage hormone, when a body is insulin resistant, when anybody who's fat, उसकी body insulin resistant होती है. Insulin resistance के केस में क्या है, अगर उनको diabetes हो गया है और they are pre-diabetic also and their HbA1c levels are increasing, I'm talking about type 2 diabetes. So type 2 diabetes is जिसके अंदर आप medicine खाते हो to low down your blood sugar. Now when you are pre-diabetic or you're diabetic, your insulin resistant levels and diabetic range is going to make sure that आपकी body, पहली बात तो जो भी आप खा रहे हो that is going to be stored as fat and the existing fat cannot be burned. So for a person like this, if you are adapting to a ketogenic diet or a low carb diet and you're including some intermittent fasting or you're including some intermittent fat fasting, that is where you should be focusing on. IF में बड़ी simple सी चीज़ है कि आप कुछ hours के लिए नहीं खा रहे हो. Intermittent fat fasting is that you're including fats first to compensate your fats and then you are keeping your meals at least 6 to 8 hours after you consume fats. Now when you keep munching every now and then, when you keep having 2-3 meals, I have a question for you. Do you think lunch और dinner का कोई continuous tense या past tense होता है? क्यों नहीं होता है? आप उसको lunch या lunching क्यों नहीं बोलते हो? It's a verb which says that you are eating in the afternoon. It's a great term which is being coined so that all of us consume 3 meals. If you read a bit about history also, this was during the colonist era when Europeans were obviously conquering different places, different colonies, and they were colonizing everywhere. everywhere, they wanted all of us to eat more. The problem is not about breakfast, lunch and dinner. The problem is when you're on a ketogenic diet, your body is finding energy from existing fat and dietary fat. The food is not a direct source of energy. So what you need to do is, you need to ensure that you keep your snacking completely limited. अगर आप snack करते जा रहे हो, अगर आप उसको नहीं track down करोगे, accountability नहीं develop करोगे, you will end up with insulin spikes that is going to stagnate your fat loss journey. This is case to case according to where your health is right now and where you want to go. Third simple point is consuming hidden carbs and not eating enough quality protein. It is important to prioritize protein. Protein के intake को बिल्कुल ध्यान दीजिए, अपनी calculations उस पे रखिए. But we also consume a lot of hidden carbs. We don't realize that even blueberries and strawberries in excess can put you out of keto. Even nuts in excess, they have higher calories and as well as higher carbohydrates. पीनट बटर से भी आप कीटो से बाहर निकल सकते हो. तो आपको जो अपनी मॉडरेशन में खाना है उसके अंदर आपको अपने कैलकुलेशंस के बारे में ध्यान देना होगा. यू आर नॉट ईटिंग फॉर द नेक्स्ट सीजन. दिस इज नॉट द टाइम व्हेन यू आर ईटिंग टुडे एंड देन ड्यूरिंग विंटर्स यू विल नॉट गेट एनी फूड और यू विल नॉट गेट एनी फूड टुमारो. यू हैव टू पोर्शन कंट्रोल एंड यू हैव टू एंश्योर दैट यू डू नॉट कंज्यूम हिडन कार्ब्स. हिडन कार्ब्स काफी सारे फ्रूट्स में होते हैं. आई हैव सीन सो मेनी पोर्टल्स सेइंग वाटरमेलन इज कीटो. द ग्लाइसेमिक इंडेक्स ऑफ वाटरमेलन इज 104. 100 होता है शुगर का. एंड वाटरमेलन आल्सो हैज अ ग्लाइसेमिक इंडेक्स डिपेंडिंग अपॉन कहां से वो कौन सा प्रोड्यूस है, कैसा है, कितना मीठा है, कितना नहीं है. Same thing with muskmelon, same thing with also kiwi. There are certain fruits which you cannot consume on keto. There are certain things which you should completely avoid on keto. When you are eating processed items, they will have hidden carbs. And remember one thing, the more you can make at home, the more natural you can go, you will see your progress working better. Also another point is that there is maltodextrin which is included in a lot of food products. There is sucralose, there is aspartame, there is stevia, erythritol. There is no problem with this, but when you are consuming anything sweet, when you are consuming any snack which is slightly sweeter, it is going to release dopamine levels. एक बात आपने जरूर सुनी होगी, शेर के मुंह पे आपने खून चखवा लिया है. You are going to do that with you. Once you develop a habit, you will have a habit of consuming it every day. I know people those who love at least having 2 Diet Cokes every day. I don't say that Diet Coke बुरा है. Recent studies say कि Diet Coke से कैंसर हो जाता है, ये प्रॉब्लम हो जाती है. They don't understand that the quantities at which people are consuming and they are testing it is definitely where it can harm you. A Diet Coke a day isn't something not going to affect you so soon. But the problem here is that okay, leaving this debate aside कि वो ठीक है कि नहीं है, when you start this you will develop a habit of consuming every now and then, and later on what you will realize is you're consuming a lot of hidden carbs, you're consuming not enough amount of protein, you're consuming a lot of dense calories, and that is going to affect your fat loss journey. So let me recap these 3 mistakes for you. Number 1 is don't be just obsessed about eating high fat or eating too low carbs. You have to make a balance between it. Calculate your ratios. I'm attaching a calculator in the description. Second thing is that you have to ensure that you're not snacking very frequently. When you're snacking, please log it in a book. Please make a tracker so that you can be accountable. Third thing, which is really important, is do not consume hidden carbs. Do not consume something which is too processed. Prioritize your protein intake and take care of your health. So I hope you found this video useful. I know this is posted on a lot of portals, but मैं चाहता था कि मैं आपको अपने तरीके से explain करूँ so that you can maximize your fat loss journey on keto. So I hope you like the video also and share this with your friends. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel pressing the bell icon. काफी सारे लोग ऐसे हैं जो सब्सक्राइब नहीं हैं, तो आप जरूर सब्सक्राइब करें जिससे कि आप नेक्स्ट वाला वीडियो मिस ना करें. एंड ऑल्सो थैंक यू फॉर द लास्ट वीडियो के बाद में काफी लोगों ने मुझे मैसेजेस करे. दे वर ऑल्सो कनेक्टेड विद इट वेयर आई पोस्टेड अबाउट माई रीजंस ऑफ बीइंग ऑन keto for 5+ years. You can also connect with me directly on Instagram through DMs, ask your questions. वहाँ पे बहुत सारे Q&As और लाइव सेशंस भी होते रहते हैं. So don't forget to follow there or don't forget to also check out my Instagram page. I'll see you in the next one with a very interesting topic. This is Rahul Kamra signing off.